Good afternoon, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to Heroes CCL. This is week number 5, day 2, and we are kicking things off with some amazing co-casters. I'm Bahamut, and I've got Grubby and Justin joining me today. And Grubby, I have to ask you, because we were all kind of watching that game, how you feeling after that massive win? 75 minutes or so?
Yeah, for those of you that were patiently waiting here at the Heroes Hearth stream and didn't come from my stream, I just had a really long game in Age of Empires 4, kind of a turtle map. Think the Alterac or Volskaya of Age of Empires. Games go long. We were 75 minutes in and we just kept throwing units at each other. It was insane. It was like the world ceased to exist for a moment as I was playing. And then when we finally won and the guy tapped out, and I think he could have drawn it out, there was 7 minutes left till the show began. So we finished just in time.
Maybe they were a fan of CCL and they were like, hold on, I got to get Grubby over to CCL really quickly, so I'll forfeit and let him go cast some games. But Justin, I got to ask you, how you feeling? Are you ready for a great day of Heroes CCL action?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I think that the games today are going to be pretty fun. I think we've got some teams that do some, sort of weird things, like Storm especially. I think they're a really inconsistent team, and going up against Chili Mountain, I think they're either the best team or the worst team, depending on how they play. And so I think we're going to get some really, really good games today.
I absolutely agree. We're going to get some awesome games, and we can break down the matches and everything we're going to be seeing soon as we have to get Springy back onto screen, of course. But let's go ahead and talk about some prize pool stuff, because you all were extremely generous yesterday and donated a ton towards the prize pool. So I want to be able to break down where that money goes. 60% of those donations will be going to this prize pool, first place taking 35% of said 60%. And to be transparent with all of you at home, 40% will come back to Wisdom to be able to create amazing graphics, run the league, run these shows, and, well, also bring Springy on stream, because we got to pay these pets as well. But because of all of your amazing support and donations, we have hit $8,326.69 nice cents. And if you'd like to check out the match arena, if you'd like to donate towards the prize pool, you can use !prize pool in chat to get you over there. And it's always awesome to see the support from the community, Grubby, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. Yesterday, such huge support. Just people having an absolutely good time and supporting the content that they like to see. That is some amazing esports. Thank you so much, everyone. And we will do our best here to cover all the games for you. And the players are certainly doing their best as the level keeps going up. Remember that interview last night? If you couldn't catch it, it was Mene from Team Simplicity. And he said they won 3-2 score, but he didn't feel like they did the best that they could. He felt like it had gotten harder, and very possibly because everyone else is getting better. Bans are getting better, draft strategy is getting better, and people are starting to play better. So if the best team in the league is feeling that, then you know that all the players are buckling up and getting ready for the end sprint to try and get the best possible rank in this league.
Speaking of ranks, Grubby, we actually have the league standings to catch everyone up at home as to what everything looks like right now. If you missed any of the league standings after yesterday's broadcast, we can kind of catch you up as to where things are sitting. The biggest thing to note here, Justin, at least in my opinion, is Diamond Hands have fallen into that 5th slot, but we still could see a little movement today as Wildheart is in that 4th slot and they do play later on today.
Yeah, I'm especially excited to see how Wildheart will play, because they're up against Granite. And Wildheart, I think, is kind of on the decline a bit, and Granite's kind of on the up and up. So Wildheart really, really is probably going to be looking to win this match so that they can get themselves up to that top 3, top 4 spot, because they're a team that was real confident coming in that they were going to be really strong. So I want to see if they can put their money where their mouth is.
We'll have to see what's going to happen with that second best of 5 of the day, but we are getting ready for this first best of 5 of the day, Storm Esports versus Chili Mountain. And we haven't looked at the roster cards and everything just yet, and we can talk about that in a little bit, because Chili Mountain did have 2 roster changes this past week. They swapped out, Smexy and Max Passion, and they pick up Copenhagen and Ultralist. But we can talk about all that in a little bit here, because what I want to talk about really quickly is our amazing sponsor, Next Level Gaming. They have joined us here for Heroes CCL Season 3. What is Next Level Gaming? It is an amazing esports center in Miami where they are hosting watch parties not only on Saturday, but Sunday as well. So if you live in the Miami area or you want to travel down to Next Level Gaming, you can check out this awesome esports center, and you can also play Heroes the Storm at this LAN center, where you can get extra experience on your account, as well as you have all the heroes unlocked in Heroes the Storm. So you can use !NXT in chat to find out more about Next Level Gaming. And thank you so much for joining us for HeroesCCL Season 3 as a sponsor. But as we've talked about sponsors, as we've talked about prize pool, we've talked about the schedule today. Boys, are you ready to start talking about this first best of 5? Can we start talking about these amazing rosters? Grubby, what are you thinking about Storm Esports?
Storm Esports, yeah, the team that should have had a better score by now, but they had that one forfeit loss, and they had a few surprising defeats as well. Are they one of our top dogs, or are they just an average sandwich? That's what we're going to find out today and next week as well, of course. Storm Esports, somewhere in the middle of the pack, and they've got BBJ, Dayquata, IB Things, Lauber, and Rutso, and CPX. All of them very good. I think the star players here are perhaps BBJ, Dayquata, and then Chili Mountain is going to be arrayed against them.
Yeah. Justin, we've had a couple roster changes for Chili Mountain. What are you thinking about what we're seeing for this entire, roster?
Yeah, so we'll see if the roster changes are able to make a big difference for them. We've got Banana, Berghalt, and Make, and Azerite sticking around. And then we've got the addition of Copenhagen and Ultralisk. So we're going to see, as Chili Mountain has not been doing so hot so far in the CCL Season 3, they are 0-4 right now. Hopefully the addition of Copenhagen and Ultralisk is going to make a big difference. And I know that those players have played together quite a bit in Europe, and Ultralisk especially was one of the real standout surprises that didn't get drafted. So seeing him getting into the league is really exciting. I'm excited to see if Ultralisk is going to be able to pop off here in the CCL.
Yeah, if memory serves me correct, Ultralisk has an extremely good Kerrigan using the Summon Ultralisk, and the Blink as well. There was a couple times in previous seasons of CCL where Kerrigan would get that, or Ultralisk actually would get that Bolt of the Storm over the wall and the point blank Ultralisk combo and blow someone up. So excited to see what will be prioritized for him. And we can actually talk about our expectations for what we could see draft-wise, because the map choice is already here. And let me get you caught up as to how we got to Alterac Pass for map number 1. The coin flip was won by Storm Esports, opting in for first pick priority for this map number 1, and Storm Esports will be banning out Towers of Doom. Dragonshire banned out by Chili Mountain, and Chili Mountain, Grubby, will be choosing to take us to Alterac Pass. The question that I kind of posed to you is, do you think Chili Mountain's trying to kind of redeem themselves from last week on this map? Because last week, Chili Mountain had a struggle on Alterac Pass when they lost.
Yeah, I mean, everything is going to be a story of redemption for them, right? Because they've lost virtually everything with 12 against 13 losses. So, yeah, either way, I think you try to think of it as a new start. You've got the new players. We did have a little glimpse there of the lobby, and we see that Azerite will be the sub and will not be playing. That's interesting. But let's talk a little bit about the two new additions. You mentioned, very rightly, Bahamut Ultralisk with an amazing Kerrigan. Yep. He also plays a great Tracer, a great Maiev, and a bunch of other heroes. He's going to be the flex kind of. But more than that, he's a player that demands attention from the opponent and from his allies. He will be very decisive at starting engagements. He's one of those players that has a really high level and will be expecting perfection from himself and his team. Then when you look at Copen is a great Hogger player. He's a great offline player. One of the ones that I think stood out in the free agent pool. And I think it is only right for him to have ended up on a team here. Hopefully, he can very solidly take the offlane for himself to de-stress his allies so that whoever's going to be tank, which is going to be Berghold, can focus on just tanking again. Because that tanking offlane swap that they've been doing the last few weeks, that's not really good, not just for them and their comfort, but for the allies. Because they keep having players that fulfill that role in a different manner. So there's no consistency.
And that's actually a really good point, Grubby. And I want to continue to talk about this, but I also want to quickly update everyone at home as to what's happening right now. One of the players did have a drop in the game, so they're going to be getting that game to come back really, really quickly, and we will get into the lobby. So just we have a little bit of a tech issue just to get through with one of the players. Once that is solved or resolved, we will be getting into Alterac Pass. So thank you, everyone at home, for being patient, as we just want to make sure these players are able to play on the best possible conditions, in the best possible conditions. But I want to continue this thread here, Grubby, because I think it's a very, very good idea to talk about this swapping back and forth. And Justin, you've played on a HeroesCCL team, so I want to also get your idea and your thoughts on just swapping so many members around and so many different leadership voices per se.
Yeah, I think Grubby touched on it pretty well. With it's not necessarily just the difference of who's playing what. It is really that kind of the role that the players bring and how they are in the comms is really important. Kind of the team dynamic is a little bit more important. It's something that, like with Simplicity, when we heard Cure in the comms, having the addition of a player like that on a position where they can start fights, like on tank, really makes a huge difference. And so it's not necessarily coming down to just maybe poor mechanics on a character or uncomfortability or maybe small hero pools. It's really more just the way that the team functions around them. You want to keep things really stable so that your team so everyone can kind of improve in a good way. So it really is important to kind of keep things stable like that. So, and I'm a little for Storm, they might feel a little bit ripped off in a sense that they have to go up against Chili Mountain right after they make their roster changes. You've got what would normally seem like a weak opponent in 04 Chili Mountain, but they've gotten beaten up in the last 4 weeks, and now they're coming in with a new roster. So you kind of have no idea what to expect if you're Storm Esports. Right. So that's kind of rough for them. They might be feeling a little bit on edge, not really as comfortable as you maybe would normally be going up against what should be the last place team.
And actually, you brought up my next point, Justin. So this is perfect as we can continue kind of talking about this. What are your thoughts of Chili Mountain with these two new players? Do you think that they've been scrimming and practicing for a longer time than since Thursday, essentially, or do you think they've acquired the new players and they've been just scrimming their minds out since Thursday to prep for this matchup? It just seems so short of a duration to get everyone on the same page.
Yeah, it might be, but for their team themselves, for the whole 5, they might not have gotten quite as much practice. But I know that over in Europe, there's been a lot of small little pop-up tournaments that sure. I've seen these players playing in a lot. So I'm sure that a lot of them have synergies, maybe even just in a 2-man synergy or a 3-man synergy. Maybe not necessarily all 5, but depending on what roles those are, it can be really, really beneficial if you have, a tank and a ranged who can always follow up, for example. Getting that synergy is really important. So I think a lot of these players have played together quite a bit. So even if they haven't recently, I think it's still just that synergy never really goes away.
It's exciting to see what kind of synergy is going to be built, and I think you make a very good point that they have played a few of these players together in different tournaments, so there's probably that little bit of synchronicity that has been formed. But as well, Grubby, I kind of want to get your thoughts just on the Chili Mountain changes, maybe even an expectation for what we could see up against Storm Esports.
Well, I think Bergholt is going to have trouble because he didn't really change, and then he has 2 new teammates. He already played a lot of different roles, tank, offlane, and now he's probably going to be full tank again. Hopefully for him, and I think this is the best case scenario, Ultralisk, whatever he's going to be, is going to be aggressive and will draw some of that attention. Because if Bergholt is going to be solo Tyrael tank for a Rainer backline or solo Tyrael tank for whatever it's going to be, I think that's going to be a very tough role to fulfill for him for half of a new roster in terms of his allies, that is. So I think he might be the weak spot, but it can work out well if Ultralisk draws some of that attention. In terms of the side lane, I think Copenhagen can help a lot with that as well. He's experienced, he's played a lot of Storm League, he's played in various teams. So hopefully he can also be a strong grounding presence so that the backline can follow up much more confidently.
Well, we've broken down our expectations for these teams right now, at least what we've seen on paper. Now we actually get to see what's going to happen here in the game. Really, really excited about this. And while we're waiting for some of these bans and everything to come through, we can kind of guesstimate on what they're going to be going for. But I'm curious, actually. I want to get your thoughts on this, Justin, because I was thinking about it yesterday, and there's so many little PTR things that I want to poke both of your brains about. What are your thoughts on those Stukov changes? Because they feel so minimal. I feel like there's really no changes to Stukov, because there's supposed to be a nerf, but it's 15 health here and there.
I think Stukov is probably still going to be one of the best, if not the best hero right now. Stukov just kind of does everything right now. He doesn't really have any clear weaknesses. He doesn't have cleanse, but at 16 you get super strain. So I don't think it'll make too big of an impact on where you see him in the draft. I think he'll still be first pick banned pretty much nearly every game.
Alrighty, okay. Alright. It's one of those things that was they reduced his overall HP by 15, they reduced his overall healing by 15, and they reduced his regeneration by 0.03. And I'm like, oh man, big nerfs to Stukov, yeah. Wow!
Yeah.
So
low blow is killing our entire team. Just take him down. He didn't regenerate enough.
Normally he has 15 less HP. How do we not kill him?
Cool.
Yeah, so either way. All right, well, let's start talking about what's happening here in the draft, Grubby, because I want to get your thoughts on what we could see, as we do have a pick immediately onto Stukov. Speaking of the devil.
He is.
Literal devil band. Makes sense to bring that out early. Now the question is, are we going to see some of that simplicity prioritization from Chili Mountain with a very early Anubarak? They would do it.
And there it is. Alrighty, Dahaka and Nubrak, two great heroes for this map. What do you think about all this, Justin?
Yeah, Dahaka Noob definitely a really good opener here. They've got Dahaka, which is the last global available with Brightwing and Falstad being banned away. And also just Dahaka priority was super high up until yesterday. So I think that might have been more of a stylistic thing between those two teams. I'm expecting to see a lot more Dahaka going forward. And Anubarak, we saw yesterday, Masquerade literally capped by himself the entire first objective before 4 minutes. So that seems balanced. So we'll see if Burkle is able to do that again. I don't expect that to happen here on the side of Storm Esports, but that just shows the power of the Anubarak. And Junkrat getting that on the 2-3 is something that you always like if you're Storm Esports, because Junkrat's been highly contested in these drafts.
Junkrat's got a lot of good poke potential around these objective phase. You also have the level 16 endless nades, so as long as you're hitting a couple frag launcher grenades into the enemies around the jailer camps, you can just continually, indefinitely poke at some of these heroes. So I do like the Junkrat pickup. Could see a Hanzo from either side realistically, as that feels like a little bit of a target, because I feel like, didn't Copen play Mephisto in the past, Grubby?
Copen?
Remember Copenhagen, didn't they play?
Well, he's been an offlane for as long as I know him. You
Must
might be
an
thinking of
Ultralisk
Kepi.
hero, right?
Maybe
Kepi?
I'm just thinking of Kepi. Maybe I'm just confusing the two.
They got so many same letters.
Yes, yeah. That's Justin, sorry, I think you had actually an actual point.
Oh, I mean, I'm assuming that Ultralisk would be the Mephisto player, and
Oh, sure,
it is
okay.
interesting to see. It feels like maybe in the past week that we had off here in CCL that the teams have been playing a lot more Mephisto, because we did see it quite a bit more yesterday, including bans on it. So
Yeah.
I think that maybe Mephisto is finally making his way into the standard draft meta, which I appreciate. I think Mephisto is very strong. And Make Sylvanas with Monk, I really like the setup. This is kind of the ideal one-shot blow-up isolation comp with mind control, and this is kind of like the Oxygen Dragonshire comp so far for Chile Mountain. So I like that, and can't be mad at a Muradin when Lauber's playing it either.
Yeah, he still loves that Muradin. Plus, kind of survivable into what could be a big one-shot. If you get saved just on the brink, you can avatar and survive. And there is what we love and hope to see and will see from Ultralisk. He's going to pick one of his specialty heroes, Maiev.
Good drafts on either sides. I got a couple little stats here and there about heroes, but I can give those stats a little bit later. I want to get Justin's thoughts, as we only have you for a few moments before we load into map number 1.
Yeah, so I really overall prefer Chile Mountain's composition. They do have the global in Dahaka, and also their team fight I think is just a little bit stronger. They have Maiev and Anubarak, with both having the isolation, assuming that we get to see the containment disc on the Maiev and the isolation. So they're going to be most likely looking to isolate 2 targets and burrow in with 7-sided strike on the front line and one-shot them. So it's going to be a lot on Stukov and Blaze to try to save the side of Storm Esports. But if Storm Esports can kind of survive the initial engage from Chile Mountain, they're just going to get ran over because they're just going to have more sustain. So it's going to be on Lauber to not int to kill the tank comp for Chile Mountain, and it's going to be on Chile Mountain to find Lauber and catch them out and make sure that they don't fight when their cooldowns are not available. So very different styles from both teams, but I favor Chile Mountain's draft at least.
I actually do as well. I wrote down actually my prediction is a Chile Mountain win. And it's a little influenced by, just as I said, I have a little bit of stats here. There's been 5 Muradins, 5 Blazes from the side of Storm, and they have a 20% win rate. So
wow.
yeah, that's why I was like I saw the Blaze earlier. I saw the Blaze come out, and I was like, oh, okay, and then the Muradin as well. And I know stats are in a vacuum. It's like scrims, you can't take them as complete truth and everything like that. But it is kind of leaning me a little bit into this Chile Mountain potential win. It really boils down to me. I think Justin, I think you're hitting on this very well. I think Chile Mountain, if they can execute this composition, they can definitely execute the side of Storm Esports. But there are a couple good control factors in the lurking arm, in the concussion, in the oh my god,
The Junkrat trap.
the Junkrat explosion mines. I cannot think of the name for it, but either way, I think that there's definitely concussive. Thank you so much. I couldn't think of the word for it, but either way, we have loaded into Alterac Past. Justin, thank you for the breakdown. We'll see you after this first map here. So we've got Storm Esports in the blue on the left-hand side, BBJ on the Stukov, Rutso on the Junkrat, Lauber to play the Muradin, Ivy Tings on the Tychus, and Dequaza on the Blaze. Over in the red, looking to, just kick off a strong series, we got Chile Mountain with 2 new members on their roster. We've got Ultralisk on the Maiev, Make on the Sylvanas, Burgult on the Anubarak, Banana on the Karazim, and Copen on the Dahaka. As I said, Grubby, I think Chili Mountain can absolutely win this map. I believe in them. I hope they believe in themselves. If they can execute with this composition, I think they can definitely win. But what are your thoughts? Because I'm sure you got a couple ideas as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think it's a fantastic draft. They've got the level to play it. The question is, will they have the synergy to play it, the experience playing together? How much scrims? Good defense there from Dequaza. And I think your stats are not entirely just in a vacuum. I think it makes sense. We kind of noticed where Dequaza was fantastic on many offlanes and Blaze, just slightly worse. Do you have any stats how he did, for example, statistically on Hager?
It would take me a second, but I actually wrote down one that's important. Is the Urel is 75% win rate on that one with 4 games. I'm trying to skim for Hager as quickly as I can.
He's 3-1 on Urel. He's 1-4 on Blaze. It's a bit of a difference, It still depends. Why did they take it? Did anything get banned? But it's interesting for sure. So we saw a little push early by Chili Mountain to leverage the Anubarak Beetles to just do a bit of tower damage on one of the proxy lanes. They got about 15% or so. Now, everyone going for the Hogger camp very quickly. It's 1 minute and 15, and Ratso and BBJ have already finished it. Whereas on the other side, Ultralisk, Burkhold, a little bit slower. We're going to get a pause. We're going to find out what's going on there. I can just say that Ultralisk, with his level 1 talent, Naisha's Memento, will get 8 seconds of 100% cleave into 2 additional enemies. And that makes Naisha's Memento perfect for dealing with a camp that has 3 mercs, and it lasts 8 seconds. And his attack speed is, do you know Mayev's attack speed?
I can find out for you really, really quick. Oh, no, because we're paused, it won't show me the stats on her. It just tells me the spell armor and the physical armor is reduced on her, unfortunately. I do have the answer for you. Go ahead.
She's going to do a lot of damage anyway into those mercs. She does 70 auto attack damage, and they have like 2k health. So let's say if you get 10 attacks splash, then you'll have half their health gone already. And then you do a few spells, a few fans, and they're going to clear it. But it is slower. And remember what I said last time about taking the Hogger camp slower? It's like a mixed blessing.
Yeah, because then you can actually delay out, like we've talked about in the past. By the way, the answer on that Hogger is they have never played Hogger on the side of Storm Esports. I actually just looked really quickly.
This season?
Yeah, I hit Control Find, and they've banned Storm Esports has banned Hogger once, never played it. Yeah, I know. Unless I missed it on my stat sheet.
He played it a lot before, like in previous seasons.
Exactly.
He played it loads.
I think we actually did a Kyle review of his Hogger one time. So just also to update everyone at home, we do have a pause happening right now. There is a lag for one of the players, so we're going to let that lag or everything just kind of level out for them so that way they can play on the best possible conditions they can possibly play on. So we're just waiting for that lag to go away, and we can continue to talk about maybe expectations. I think we should let's look at the 10s here, Grubby, because I think the 10 fight, Justin kind of alluded to this a little bit, as we are going to have like a potential containment disc from Maev. It's like a 30-second cooldown. Mind control is good to lock someone in place. Burrow charge, chain CC, drag from Dahaka isolation. You got 7-sided. It's looking kind of good, but what do you think about the side of Storm when it comes to 10 talent tiers?
Yeah, you're gonna have Bunker, Odin, Avatar most likely, though. Yeah. Do I remember correctly that Lauber talked about Haymaker? I know Justin likes Haymaker.
I actually rated him this past week, and he actually was playing. It was actually on Friday. He was playing Haymaker Murden. And he was explaining it. He did have logic to it, because it was basically the composition they were playing against was a Stitches comp, so he was trying to control that Stitches a little bit more. So there is logic to it. It wasn't like, I'm taking Haymaker because I want to Playmaker and meme. Like, no, he actually has reason behind it. So we could see that, absolutely, Grubby.
Yeah. And then Stukov, most likely, well, Stukov could go for anything. It's hard to predict. It could be Massive Shelf just to save himself from some kind of attacks. It could be Flailing Swipes to try and stop the hard engage that there is. I never pay too much importance, actually. Put too much importance on Stukov ult. Both of them is like get out. And Junkrat's, of course, going to be Riptire. A lot of isolation with the disc and the cocoon. That means they're probably going to, like, ideally, they would either isolate Murden and Blaze away, or Murden and Stukov. And then they'll try to, like, go for Junkrat or Tychus. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you have 2 forms of just take someone out of the team fight per se. You could cocoon the Stukov, and then you could containment disc the Tychus, and then there's no Tychus to shred through the cocoon, or vice versa. Yep. You can take out 2 people of the fight, and now it becomes a 5v3 or however it goes. So it's really, really interesting what we can see around the 10 talent tier. Is just as an update, once again, we are waiting for some players to get a little bit level ping, so that way they can play on, well, level ping. So we're just waiting for that to happen really, really quickly. And I think we actually had 2 players drop, like one, I think it was like Dequaza dropped like a couple seconds after Burgult, and Dequaz is back in. So I think we're only waiting on Burgult to have their ping level out, and then we'll be back into the game. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. It looks like we actually have the readies coming out from the players. So thank you again, everyone at home, for your patience and our little bit of a pause. But we will get back into game here in just a second. Really, really excited about this Alterac Pass map. We've been able to discuss a little bit about the expectations, but we're back into the game, and we can see that we do have those camps in mid lane being pushed out. Let's see what happens as we do have both of our players back into the game. Grubby.
Yeah, a nice attack there by Karasim Sylvanas. And if you caught that movement from Tychus, moving in and out of the bush without actually throwing a grenade, he made sure to keep all his resources rather than using a grenade to see, are you there? Just to maybe save himself from people that would rotate. And the fake movement into the bush was most likely to bait people to attack him while expecting a full forwards trajectory. So this is something pros and good players do and should do a lot. When you're near a bush but you don't want to use resources to check it, you think there may be someone there, suddenly turn around unexpectedly, just take a step near and then back again. And sometimes that's all you need for someone to blow the surprise and for you to know what's going on. So here's the second Ogre camp. As you could see, that Storm Esports took it first, and therefore Chili Mountain got to clear it near their gate, and now they are counter pushing with it. So they are having the last laugh despite capping the camp slower, and that's usually true for the first 2 acquisitions of the camp. 8 seconds behind in the cycle, but as that cycle increases, 8 seconds, 12 seconds, 20, 30, suddenly it's the one that capped first that starts to take the advantage again, kind of in the rhythm. And you see that Junkrat is there on cooldown. So far good for Chili Mountain. They've managed it really well. They've actually got the mid towers, which are by far the most important towers in the early game, down to 20 and 40% respectively.
Mid lane is often where we see a lot of push potential come through because of this null camp, as well as the objective phase empowering heroes with their siege and damage, as well as movement speed as well. 10 talent tier is about to come through, 7 talent tier about to come through for both sides, and I was just looking really quickly. The only really kind of questing talent, actually the only questing talent we have is going to be the enhanced agility for the Dahaka. He also does have that movement speed from the bush increased from 2 seconds to 5 seconds, so a little bit more sustained chase, as well as retreat speed as well, as he does build out those stacks. When he's at 5, he has mount speed after touching a bush. When he's at 10 or fully finished, he has 140%, so he's a little bit faster, 10% faster than mount speed, so he can get away from those chase potential moments. And one last thing to note, because I know there's some people that might be looking and saying, like, why does Muradin, have a 0 next to his Stormbolt? When he hits 10, he finishes that out. And then the same thing with the Vigorous Vaulter, but at level 20, Maiev gets a second charge of Vault of the Warden with no increased time or anything like that. Vault of the Warden, for anyone that doesn't know, is a, what is it? It's like 10 second, 15 second cooldown?
I know it used to be 8 when she came out. It doesn't actually show the cooldown anymore.
It's 14.
14, yeah. It's weird when you hover over it, it doesn't show the cooldown.
I immediately was like, I was talking about it, I was like, cool, I got the tooltip open, I can read this, and oh, okay, it's not, I guess. Okay, so 14 seconds because she used it immediately, which works out for us.
She came out with 8. Yep. That was so much fun. And now at level 20, she's better than that. 2 charges in 14 is better than 1 in 8.
It's so good for Maiev players that are just mechanically savvy to avoid a lot of incoming CC, or just, well, pop that vault or that vault in the middle of a team fight and just continue to team fight without taking any sort of burst potential damage. Just really cool. Really cool. We could see what happens with that at level 20, because the expectation for this map is that it will go to 20. Alterac Pass usually takes a little bit of extra time due to the fact of needing to take down at least 2 keeps to end the game.
I like the Muradin into a Nubarak matchup a lot from the Muradin side. When you're trading with a Nubarak into many, because of the Beetles, he does fairly okay, especially with Beetle builds. He doesn't have the full build. But Muradin with Skullcracker will mostly beat most tanks one-on-one. And oh, that's a kill. That's a first blood.
First blood.
Very nice. Very nice. Good voiceover.
Thank you.
That was a really cool kill by Storm, and maybe Anubarak didn't really expect PBJ to come out there.
Stormbolt will connect on to Banana, but he's able to blink around. Does have that block totem out as well. Ultralisk getting Fan and Ive after Fan and Ive resets, but is able to get the Spirit of Vengeance away with, like, I don't know, that was like 5% HP or something. Is very, very low for the Maiev player.
I've never been able to do that with Maiev.
That many Fan and Ives?
When she came out, but like he's like making 3 to 4 people look at him while dropping 2 people to near death and surviving. That was super impressive.
Bye, BBJ. Avatar.
Nice kill on BBJ. Cocoon, they go on Tychus. Burrow Charge misses. Is there still an Impale? I don't think so, but IB Tinks will just die to raw damage. Here we see those tools of isolation.
Yep.
Literally, in fact, onto Junkrat as well. They kill him, and fantastic move by Chili Mountain. 3 kills against 1. Objective guaranteed. Dahaka pushes out mid and will then be able to defend top, where the wall is gone, but the fort is still very much intact. Fantastic job by Chili Mountain, and with Black Arrow, these kind of kills are worth so much.
Oh yeah, your siege is absolutely amplified. Twofold, tenfold, however you want to multiply that one, but still you also have Kerazim with the Iron Fist punching in, getting a lot of good siege damage in. Maiev, she does actually mildly okay, and there's that guaranteed objective. There's a containment disc onto the Stukov. Isolation will connect onto this Tychus. Kerazim trying to get some punches out as he has the 7-sided strike available. There will be a lot of damage onto Copen, who will go down. Riptire coming out from the Junkrat. Oh! It is going to be avoided by the 7-sided strike, but can Banana still live? He gets the dash to Burgold. Ultralisk gets Chain CC'd. Jet Propulsion from Dequaza, Stormbolt from Lauber, and the members of Storm Esports, they may have lost the objective, but they clap back with a couple kills of their own. 3-3 in kills, 11 up on both sides.
Yeah, great kill there. Stukov also with a really cool massive shove. I don't know who it was, but they went real far. And wherever he pushed out, it left Dahaka by himself. Very survivable, but then Dahaka was trapped by the Junkrat. That's minus armor, minus 15 armor. With a bit of CC from the allies, and they were able to take down the beast of Dahaka. Dahaka tried to stay alive by isolating Tychus. It wasn't enough. So how much did the objective do? Not too much, actually. Kind of the nice experience. This objective really needs you to push with it. We've got a bit of gate damage on the bottom. Top has been cleared practically for free. And what should have been a really happy moment for Chili Mountain turns into practical neutrality.
Mm-hmm. A lot of parity found on the map. I will say this, though. Chili Mountain actually got the most value outside of the objective phase before it actually arrived through bottom lane with that kill onto the destruction of the fort. But I believe, Grubby, we've got a little bit of a replay to take a look at and see how things went around that objective phase.
Yeah, let's take a look. We had Dahaka there isolated. We had him going down, and then that big Riptire. Double Stormbolt from Lauber was huge. 7-sided to dodge the Riptire, but he was left behind with no way to escape. And we have another attack here by Storm. They push in, they go for the Anubarak. Grenade will actually take him down. 443 health. It's a 1-for-1. Copen with the Drag Tongue on Muradin. Can they take him out? There's no mind control anymore. Everything had been used. There's Kerazim. He's still got 7-sided strike, but he doesn't want to hit everybody at the same time. IB Tinks doing some good damage, even dashes forward. And that was a lot of heroics being used by Chili Mountain and almost none by Storm Esports.
Yeah, Commandeer Odin was popped, but that's absolutely fine. It's, what, an 80-second cooldown, if I'm not... 100-second cooldown, excuse me. Ultralisk is going to get dove by Lauber. He's looking for one more Stormbolt, one more Stormbolt, one more Stormbolt.
Oh, wow. Very nice
Max
job.
range.
And don't feel like he should have been there at that time anymore. Hey, is there going to be a counter kill? Very aggressive forward by Make. In comes the Riptire.
Lauber does have that level 13 as the 7-sided strike comes through. Lauber actually going for the aggressive Dwarf Toss to block off Kerazim, but he still goes down to Tychus. And as I said, I was watching Lauber stream on Friday, and he kept repeating the phrase, "We gotta get to 13, and then I just carry the game. We gotta get to 13. I get my rage, I carry the game." And it's kind of true though, because Bronzebeard Rage for Muradin, if you can land your Stormbolts, is such a hard carry tool with just the amplified damage, the self-healing. And if you're getting auto attacks, you got that cooldown reduction from hitting level 10. So you're just rocketing Stormbolt after Stormbolt, getting this proc of Bronzebeard Rage. It's such a strong talent. It really does carry for these Muradin players.
That's strange, because I've picked Bronzebeard Rage before, and I've never noticed its effect. But
I love it.
It does have that conditional that you must hit an enemy hero with Stormbolt, so that makes sense.
Are you flaming yourself, Grubby? Are you saying that you don't land Stormbolts? Lover comes in with the Stormbolt into the Dahaka. We had a Cocoon coming out onto Dekwaza. Stukov is going to get, I blink and he's gone apparently. Maev did dive in, Containment Disc was used. There is a Mind Control going out. A lot of Chili Mountain members are getting low. Lauber looking to jump in. Riptire 5 HP onto the Dahaka, but he is going to get a, Lauber gets the last hit, and here comes the Jet Propulsion. That's going to be a kill onto the Nubarak. Good vault of the Warden from Ultralist, and he gets the blink away. This is looking like second objective phase over to the side of Storm Esports.
Very fun fights, actually. A little bit sloppy sometimes from both sides. Or is it chaos? Is it the management of chaos that we are witnessing? You know, Chili Mountain, they go in hard. Sometimes it's a little uncoordinated, but it's aggressive, and they're getting results done as well. They're losing by a bit, but they still have a chance. It's still 5 forwards versus 5. Level 16 being reached. Hellbats to help push out center. They want to create as much of a defense here in the center as possible. As top and bot can typically lose to keep. You never want to lose, to boss. You never want to lose mid keep into anything, because then you'll just be super weak once bosses gets taken.
And you also have that null camp that you can force through mid lane for that armor reduction even onto the core. Here comes a big Stormbolt from Lauber connecting onto 2. Banana very low, gets pushed by the Concussion Mine in a friendly direction. Cocoon will stop this blaze as we have a Containment Disc coming out as well. Mind Control will connect onto Dekwaza as he's just going to get pulled into the fort range, but he's not really too concerned. Dahaka's up in the top lane, and they can see that on the side of Storm. They are going to be able to just continue to open up the map, and I think Storm should be able to confirm the bottom lane fort. They might lose a bit in mid lane from that null camp that has pushed in. I lied, that null camp was cleared out by the tower shots.
So we have a wave for Storm that's going to win in the center. We have the bottom fort being taken down. So that's 1.5 fort down for the objective for Storm Esports. Almost a level lead. And they go for the boss immediately. And this isn't one of those moments where it's obvious. This isn't a Cursed Hollow split map scenario. This is a very brazen 5 versus 5.
Dahaka does have Brush Stock. I just checked the cooldown on it. They leash boss on the side of Storm. Dekwaza may be going back, or he's feigning that he's going to start it again as the clear goes into bottom lane. No 20 talents here. Oh, good Stormbolt once again from Lauber, just kind of saying hi to Ultralist.
I love that Dahaka didn't burrow here yet. Chili Mountain really wanted to keep him in position, and only if absolutely necessary. That's 1 tower down for Copen. Hurting the second tower with the ranged minions as well. And Storm basically hasn't done anything productive in the last 40 seconds.
That is very true. They start a boss, they leash it. They finally get something, which is going to be this null camp for mid lane. Lauber's still floating around in bottom lane with Ivy Tings, and I think there's just this constant kind of dance between Lauber and Burgult of, are you going boss? Am I going boss? Are you going boss? Because it's map manipulation on vision. It seems like Storm Esports, they want to try and find something with this mid lane, as you were mentioning, bit of a priority here.
See, that's a big Stormbolt on Ultralisk. He actually dashes to the left. That's a super risky play.
Containment Disc was used, 40-second cooldown. Dahaka looked for a drag, not connecting. Mind Control's available, so only Containment Disc used. Massive Shove was used as well.
Everyone gets away. A few shots were missed. Drag tongue from Dahaka around the corner. Stormbolt to stop him. Both didn't hit. That could have gone very differently. For now, immediate objective channel by Rutso and Storm looks
nice.
Really clean and easy for them. They're not at level 20 yet, so somehow one feels that maybe this shouldn't have happened, that they get the channel like this.
I see what you mean. Like, Chili Mountain should be stepping in because this is the pre-fight to 20. Once 20 comes through for Storm, Chili Mountain, they're going to have to turtle up. So, yeah, this is where Chili Mountain needs to make a play. Jet Propulsion will be mitigated by the Impale of the Nubarak as Ultralist takes a lot of damage. 7-sided strike comes out onto Lauber as he pops his avatar. Rip Tire from Rutso. There's a Containment Disc onto this blaze, but the Dahaka does go down to said Riptire. Jet Propulsion connects onto Ultralisk. He's going to be taking a lot of damage, tries to get the blink away, manages to do so, pulls in Dekwaza, gets the cleansing dash. Woo!
That was super sick what he did there. He was so low and he still did a lot of damage on Dekwaza, yoinked him and got away. Ultimately though, what I really love about that fight is how Lauber knew and demanded a move was possible and good even. So we had Ultralis kind of on the flank there. He was sniffed out. Very great job by Storm to realize that Maiev will be flanking. They hurt him so bad. He jumps over the wall and Murden follows. 1v5 essentially. 7-sided comes out immediately. And Storm, they didn't let him down. They followed Lauber. Demands to be followed, he said in an interview a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago or so, and we saw that there. He jumps in, he survives, Avatar, and they managed to get the kill on Dahaka. Great Riptire timings as well. It seems like many people, when they Riptire, it's just to soften up and split.
Yep.
Every time Ratso's Riptire comes, it's already very, very fatal and dangerous for the opponents.
That's something I've noticed in the game as well, and I think you hit that perfectly, Grubby, is just the kill potential, the effectiveness of Retso on this Junkrat, excuse me, is really, really showing, is being shown off right now, and 20s are achieved on both sides. Parity has been found. Skimming through some of these 20s, it's pretty standard across the board. Karazim did go into the, he went into the Storm Shield, but let's talk about the fight, because that's a 7-sided that Lauber just kind of walks away from. He gets chunked a little bit, but BBJ continues to heal up with this Stukov portrait build, if you will. And the objective phase ends. I think the mid lane keep was all that was really gained, a little bit of siege into bottom lane, and a boss to be over the side of Storm.
Yeah, they'll be getting that boss. You see that this time Chili Mountain won't be on time to stop it. Well,
yeah, okay.
I mean, no.
Lauber's doing a good job of kind of anchoring for his team. Dahaka does brush talk in. The massive shove will not connect. Kopen does get hit with the snowball. The stun, the unstoppable, will be used from the Karazim with that cleansing dash. There's going to be the Riptire from the Junkrat. He didn't go for the extra oomph, but it doesn't matter. Ultralisk is still going to go down. The cannonballs are just shredding through the side of Chili Mountain. And with this boss through bottom lane and a keep down in mid, this could be the death march from Storm Esports. They could be taking us to map number 2 with this advantage and a win through Alterac Pass, but they have to take down this keep and then core.
Yeah, I think you're right. This might be it, especially if they can get another kill here on Karazim. He will be isolated. He will be silenced by BBJ, that is. Does BBJ have that level 20 silence? No, he doesn't. So it's just straight up a lurking arm.
And this is going to be Burgolt falling as well. Dahaka steps out of the Hall of Storm, says, "No, I'm good." He kind of does that Abe Simpson. He walks in, he walks right back out. He's like, "Okay, all right, I'll save my KDA a little bit here." And that is going to be Storm Esports taking map number 1 in day number 2 of our week number 5 matches. Really, really well played from Storm Esports. I do want to commend Chili Mountain because I think that was. They looked really, really, really good there. They did, falter probably around like level 16 is when Storm Esports just had the domination and the control. But the early game did look pretty promising for Chili Mountain. What do you think about all this, Justin? As I know you've been watching, taking quite a few notes, I'm sure.
Yep, lots of notes. So at the beginning of the game, Chili Mountain was looking pretty strong. They seemed to understand their win condition on the first objective. They got the pick on Stukov, and then Lauber jumps in to try to save him, and then they did it well that time. They did what they kind of needed to continue doing. They cocoon the Muradin, and then they fight past. But after that point, it felt like they kind of stopped doing that, and Lauber was kind of free to sort of just live in the entire team of Chili Mountain. He didn't really seem like he was under any threat. It didn't seem as though no one on Chili Mountain really felt like they were willing to pull the trigger, because their composition is really, really execution heavy. You need to have everyone on the same page. You need to be willing to just engage, take the risk, and just go in. And after they messed up after the first objective and they kind of lost that fight, it felt like they lost all their confidence to engage. And then it felt as though Storm was just sort of on the putting them on the back foot for the rest of the game after their first engage. This was what I was talking about. This was kind of the highlight of Chili Mountain for the rest of the game. As soon as they lose the fight after this, they kind of forgot how to team fight. Like, this is what they need to do. They need to cocoon the Muradin and then just dive past. But after that, it didn't feel as though Bergholt really had the confidence to do that. And Lauber was definitely my MVP for this series. I think he just completely dismantled Chili Mountain. He was basically just living inside of their team just for free. He really felt like he was under no pressure. You can tell that Chili Mountain is just so discouraged after losing their first fight that none of them have the confidence to just go in. And it felt as though Storm was just running at them for the remainder of the game, just head first. And it's really hard to deal with that type of aggression when you're the team that wants to engage. You're expecting Storm Esports to be playing a little bit more passively and giving you more windows to engage, but it's really hard to get windows to engage when Lauber's just constantly jumping into melee of your team and you can't really deal with him without all your cooldowns. So really well played by Storm Esports, especially Lauber and PBJ on that Stukov. It's really hard to play 4 melees that need to dive into Stukov puddle as well, and PBJ did a good job at playing that and getting the kills with it. So well played by Storm Esports.
Got a fun little fact for you here as I'm still looking at some of the stats. Number 1, heroic damage, Tychus. Number 2, Junkrat. Number 3, Lauber's Muradin. And it's number 3 by about 500 damage. Like, Junkrat had 39,000, Muradin had 38,500. So, yeah, like I was talking about Bronzebeard Rage, like, Lauber on Muradin, he's really starting to hit his stride here. Like, as I said, I noted the 20% win-loss on this, but he is also playing from NA ping. He's also playing a lot more confidently as the season has progressed here. I think Lauber really has found his footing on this Muradin as this main tank for Storm Esports this season, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen getting into our second map. But Grubby, any kind of takeaways from that Alterac Pass map from either side?
I think Junkrat didn't take 1 point of damage the whole game. It just kind of showed Rotso's positioning was good. He didn't really try to get auto attacks in during the fight, just frag launcher and his ult. Made himself safe, no doubt, with concussive and traps. Didn't try to use concussives aggressively. Probably always just his getaway card. Tychus, Ivy Tinks sometimes took damage, but mostly it was all about, and it's kind of a draft thing, trying to kill Muradin, trying to get anyone that oversteps. Usually Muradin will be in front and make himself seem like a target. And yeah, Lauber always made a hard engage. And I agree with Justin that Bergold, he just didn't open fights with cocoons anymore. Sometimes, like, for example, if you look at the crucial objective fight, Maiev dropped to 10% before the fight really began, and then everything else afterwards. That's not how Bergold wants to engage either, where Maiev comes in and is like hanging off her horse, bleeding all over the place with a message like, they're coming. And then when they went for the level 20 boss fight, Copen missed his isolation, took all the damage. Karazim was forced to cleanse him, and in the meantime, everyone else was dying without their healer. So there was always like a big problem with one of the members of Chile before they decided to go in and use their isolations. I think Cocoon, you can't use it early enough. You really need to have that confidence, and I agree, it was probably missing after a few bad fights.
Well, it was good engagement to start from Chili Mountain. I had really a lot of excitement because I thought that first fight where we saw exactly, it was like Cocoon, isolation, kill, and then it was like perfect, yay, containment disc. It didn't keep happening. I was expecting to see it over and over again, but really well played from Storm to just dismantle what Chili Mountain did and really kind of put the fear into Chili Mountain. But we'll see if Chili Mountain is still scared because we have more maps to go through in HeroesCCL in our first best of 5 of the day. We can let you all know where we're going to head to for map number 2. Justin, who's going to choose what map?
Storm is going to be choosing Home of the Spider Queen.
Okay.
So that's Tomb is one of my favorite maps. It's about tied for me with Shrines. I really like how it's such a small map. There's so much fighting in the rotations that can happen, and there's a lot of sort of unique strategies you can do with how you control those rotations, and also how you control the turning coffers. And even strategies with how you turn in as well. You can kind of decide whether it's a threat to turn in. Like, sometimes you don't even want to turn in first on Tomb, and so there's a lot of... It's the one map where the objective is like that, where it's kind of an economy thing. You don't necessarily know whether... If you can't snowball the advantage, you kind of sometimes actually want to wait, turn in. So there's a lot of... I think there's a little bit more intricacies with the objective on this map than most. So it'll be interesting to see which team kind of understands that better and understands their win conditions.
Definitely a lot of mid-maxing you can do with the Web Weavers. Absolutely, I agree with you. That is going to be, for a little fun fact, that is going to be the 11th ban onto Junkrat from the side of Storm Esports this season. So if they can't get it, they're definitely going to get rid of it. And really quickly as well, before we start talking about draft a little bit further, little map score update for anyone wondering. Tomb of the Spider Queen for Storm Esports, they sit 2-0, 100% win rate. For the side of Chili Mountain, they're 0-2. So it's not... Chili Mountain map wins are kind of hard, you can't really look at them too much like that. But on the side of Storm, they chose this map. They feel confident. They won that last game. And Grubby, it makes a lot of sense. You just beat someone on their map choice, and now you go to a map that you've already had consistent victory on. I'm going to actually throw that question to Justin. Do you think this is just kind of like a good way to keep Storm's momentum going?
Yeah, I think Storm Esports really wants to sort of just keep the pressure on. I think that after that last game, they're probably feeling really, really confident.
Oh yeah.
Chili Mountain really looked like just kind of demoralized after that first fight loss, and I think that Storm Esports is going to take advantage of that. I think that Storm Esports has a lot of momentum going into this game because you could tell it sort of felt like Chili Mountain was just playing not to lose after they did start losing, and that's no way to win, especially when you have such an aggressive team comp that needs to be like going in. They need to have that confidence, and that confidence doesn't really seem to be there. Where I'm sure Storm Esports is extremely confident.
What are your thoughts, Grubby, on the Lucio Nubrak priority? Why no Muradin again? Because he's warmed up on it. Why not just continue playing Muradin on the side of Storm?
Bit more generally applicable, I think, Anubarak.
Okay.
I was expecting Uther Lunara here, potentially. I like Brightwing Lunara. Her cleanse is going to get nerfed in the new patch, the frequency with which she has it available, but it hasn't been yet. And so she actually has cleanse more often than Uther. So she's perfectly fine to save a single person. And that's what you do think of when you are against the Nubarak. It's like, okay, we don't have Stukov. We still need a cleanse. Anduin can struggle when you don't know the nature of the rest of your opponent's team, where it's like, well, there's 3 heroes coming in. I don't know if Anduin is the right call here. Are they going to be light bombable? Do we really need to save one person from a one shot? And his heals don't go around as much as Brightwing's. Lunara, I thought, yeah, if you're going Uther, then you want Lunara so that you don't have to face her, as it can be impossible to out-heal her poisons. This, I think, is better. I think Chili Mountain did draft very well here in the first 3 slots, so it looks promising so far.
Looking good so far. What do you think of all of this as well? Justin, I'm sure you're happy to see more Mephisto target bans.
Yeah, I love seeing that. Well, I would like to see Mephisto picked because he's really fun to watch. But I do appreciate that people are starting to pick him up and put him into the meta like this. Also, Rutso had his Zarya banned away. That's something that I don't think we noted. That's a Rutso target ban, so they're not allowing them to have. I mean, that would be pretty scary here as a last pick. So coming into the draft prepared for sure. I wouldn't want to play against Vala with a Zarya as well as a Lucio, so that's pretty scary. I do like IB Tings on any hyper carry. I think that IB Tings is kind of the unsung hero of Storm Esports and their victories. He's extremely consistent, like very, very consistent player. Probably one of the most consistent players we have in the CCL. He's always doing his job. He's very, very rarely making any kind of inty plays. Nothing too flashy, but just consistent damage, and that's kind of what you want from your hyper carry. So really like the Vala. They do go with Maiev again for Ultralisk. I think it looked pretty good. Like him Ultralisk on Maiev, I think looked quite good. The team maybe wasn't meshing so well with it when it came to team fighting, and the map's really big. Tomb of the Spider Queen is a much better map for Maiev overall, the wave clear. So Chili Mountain's comp looks pretty good so far. Pretty good.
And then a Sylvanas to round things out for Storm. I really actually love Storm Esports draft. If Storm Esports gets a singular kill, they can really, really push out against Chili Mountain. But as we're loading on in, Justin, I gotta get your big breakdown, maybe even who wins. Yeah.
So I think that Storm Esports appears to be the better team to me so far. Chili Mountain had their one moment of brilliance, but it felt like they really fell apart after that.
Yeah.
I really think that Storm Esports just looks a lot stronger right now, and their composition can definitely kind of oppress the enemy team. Johanna doesn't really interact too well with Vala or Sylvanas, so I'm kind of expecting that Vala and Sylvanas get to sort of just do whatever they want unless Ultralisk can really pop off and get those good engages. It's really hard to really punish either of those as a Johanna, either with Falling Sword or Blessed Shield. And Falling Sword especially, we've been seeing a lot of that. I think that kind of puts the burden of execution entirely onto Ultralisk. He's going to have to be the one who dives in and gets the unstoppable if they want to win the fights. So I think that's good for Chili Mountain because Ultralisk did look aggressive, but it's kind of a lot of pressure too to put on the newest member of your roster to say you're basically also the tank now. Like, you're the one who has to start the fights, and yeah, we'll see if that works. I'm heavily favoring Storm Esports though in this game.
Yeah, Storm Esports, they're looking good. They got that momentum. I'm excited to see what they're able to do with this as we are just about loaded into Tomb of the Spider Queen. So, as always, Justin, thank you for... Oh, wait, no, I'm calling it. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for your analysis, your breakdown. And actually, we have an immediate pause, so I think we can actually maybe continue our discussion a little bit further while we still have Justin here. And, when we have these pauses, the best thing to do is I like to look forward. And while we have you here, Justin, I do want to get your breakdown. What do you think the 10 talent tiers could look like, and potentially even the Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've seen that before, Grubby. There's actually there's a random little
Can we
locust
show
that
that
spawns.
on screen?
There's a random locust that always spawns on Tomb of the Spider Queen in the first few seconds. It dies to the tower. I have no idea why this happens, but every single time I've ever like casted a replay of Tomb, I was paused at the start, and I've seen this before too. It's super weird. But anyways, sorry. Let's talk about those 10 talent tiers, Justin. Because who do you think could actually wait? Nope. Sorry, I'm Justin. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to hold that thought. I'm so sorry because everyone's ready to go and we're gonna get into the game. So we'll see you. We'll see you after the game. I wanted to talk to you more about all this, but either way, we'll see you all. We'll see you after the Tomb of the Spider Queen, because we're in to our map number 2 with Storm Esports in the blue. We have BBJ on the Lucio, Retso on the Sylvanas, IB on the Vala, Dequaz on the Leoric, and Lauber on the Anubarak. Over in the red, Chili Mountain. Ultralisk will be on the Maev, Copen on the Blaze, Make on the Lunara, Banana on the Brightwing, and Burgult on the Joanna. A little bit of a chaotic start right there. Sorry about that, Grubby, but want to get your thoughts on this as well. Maybe even that stray Locust at the start of Tomb?
I had no idea that the locust would spawn there, and it doesn't look like it deals any damage either, which is good. Yeah, that only the programmers will know. Whoever were programmers of that before would know. Most likely will never know why a locust spawns. A blue locust on the right side, red tower of the top
I need to ask
fort.
like Kyle Dates or something like that. Maybe he knows. He was the one who told me. He was the one who actually told me how Decker Kane's potion sound was made, and it was like a specific like vessel with. They used muscle milk apparently. That's how they made that sound, and there was like a specific like vessel shape. Interesting little things.
Muscle milk?
Yeah, it's like a protein shake kind of thing.
Muscle milk. Strange.
Muscle milk. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never heard of that. But I thought like, wait, are mussels mammals? my mind just exploded. Like they're just like us. They just have a little shell. Anyway, so the game has started. It was pretty close to maybe kill a Nubarak. Damage taken here and there. We have a non-traditional setup here. Lauber takes a lot of damage. Is this going to be his feed game? He always has one. Doesn't look like it yet. BBJ won't let him. And in the meantime, in the bottom lane, there were many people there, but nobody died yet.
Wait, hold on. Big damage onto Banana, who tries to get the Soothing Mist, but that will be BBJ setting up the kill. Lauber finding the last hit, and that will be our first blood. Okay. I tried.
Almost.
Almost. We almost had it. But,
almost.
When we look at everything, Grubby, I really didn't get your thoughts on who you think could potentially come out on top of this.
Let's see. I get the Johanna argument. It's going to be really tough for her to get Blessed Shield on the right target. Most likely it'll hit someone else first and only get the, 3/4 second stun on some backliner.
Yeah.
And there's Lucio, who could potentially high five people. And then there's not the most burst. Maiev is also kind of a sustained damage dealer. So can she stay alive long enough here? We're going to check out that first blood again because there were some pretty cool moves there. BBJ actually set up that fight real well. Let's watch the replay. And we can see here that BBJ right now is on the perimeter. He's just healing Lauber. We have a burrow charge going in there. Then BBJ dodges the burrow charge. He dodges the condemn. Manages to push 2 people back into his team. That's how they were able to get those. Banana Age couldn't get out in time, and Banana Age not going for the magic.
Wait, Lucio on the right, bottom lane. Okay, sorry. Like BBJ is like on. I don't know. He went all the way to like Hawaii for a second there just to chase Blaze, and I was like, are you putting pressure? It was just really weird. But I really do like in that little highlight we did see that there was that push off from Lucio. Now BBJ stepping in, trying to pick up those 14 gems. Lauber does come in as BBJ is trying to just wall right away. And it actually was a really good distraction from BBJ to allow Lauber to come in, and he picked up everything. So they may have lost their Leoric, but they don't lose the gems. Uh-oh.
Okay, real far forward. He's in trouble there. That's 1 kill. Ultralisk dropping low as well. He's going to pull someone in. There we've got the phase shift on him, as Johanna is paying once she has 20 gems per gold in the top, and will be doing some clear as well. Yeah, that was little Lunara just traipsing into the wrong side of town as Storm rotated for a bit of vengeance, and Make should have been more careful with Wisp or otherwise.
Definitely being careful on the side of Storm Esports, as they've only lost one thus far, that Leoric in the bottom lane, but realistically, if you're going to lose anyone, Leoric is probably your best hero to lose, as he can cheat death and respawn in lane rather than having to come from the Hall of Storms. Now, Ultralisk looking for a flank onto Ivy Tings, who does vault away for safety. Does have that fire at will at level 1 and has 16 stacks already, trying to build that up to that 20 so you get the extra damage bolster, much like Falstad with Gathering Storm. Once you hit those 20 stacks, you jump to 80 damage, because at the 20 stack mark, you get an additional 40. Also to note, you scale by 2 per stack, so a little bit of caster math for you on that one, as 10 talent tiers will roll through soon, Grubby, and we're looking at a potential first turn-in for Storm Esports, but Joanna Burgle stalls out Dequaza.
That's a lot of gems there on Lauber. Is Ibitings going to be able to pick it up? He took a few. In comes Rutso. He gets the rest. Ibitings survives. Rutso gets a lot. Copen now in trouble himself. How did he get so much healing? He was standing in the fire, in his own fire, and that's how he survives together with Banana Age. That was sick. Nearly getting 2 kills, getting 1, almost denying a lot of gems. They're now on Rutso. It's going to be harder, generally, for him to pay. And the first turn in to Chili Mountain. Now, how many gems do Storm Esports still have? They
62.
got 66.
Ooh, that's a lot.
And they're ahead in XP. So just like yesterday, this could be a situation where the first turn in doesn't do much. And then the second one, by the team that gets level 10 first, can do so much more. So the big question is, can Chili Mountain create an imbalance in power in one of the lanes and actually get more than just 1 tower? Because that was our first objective result yesterday. Just 1 tower for the level 9.5 versus level 10 team.
And I believe this is what we were talking about loading into this game as well, is just the efficacy of these web weavers. And Dequaza doesn't have the Neil Peasants at level 4 for the extra clear, but still has that paralyzing rage to get some increased slow. 60% slow when he hits someone with the skeletal swing, as this bottom lane web weaver will be cleared out. And as Justing, I'm sure, is shouting, "Clear the babies! Kill the babies!" You gotta kill those smaller little spiders that do get summoned, because those deal quite a bit of damage, and Rutso knows exactly that, as we have Ultralisk is not going to be able to pull anyone around. That's just going to be a blink away from them. And 10 talent tiers have been achieved. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. I saw Lauber was on cooldown. I was just like, I doubt he went Locust Swarm, but let me look, and okay, of course it's Cocoon.
Just looked at Neo Peasants for Leoric, and it looks like the talent got changed. Don't know how long ago. It does more damage on mercs and monsters now, so it's for objectives and merc camps, but no longer on minions. That's now part of his baseline kit. And if he hits monsters and mercs, then he gets CDR for the ability. So I guess it doesn't help for wave clear anymore, but it helps on mercs and on the web weavers, of course. 90 gems in the bank still for Storm Esports. Can they pay it? We have the interrupt attempt here by Banana H and Copen. A big bruiser camp fight here in the center as well. Players are so close to each other. They're hitting each other. It's not full all in against each other yet. That fight hasn't broken out yet, but it's very imminent potentially. I should love to jump into some calm soon.
I was thinking about it for when they got that turn in, but then I was like, I don't know if this turn in's going to yield a lot. So maybe the next turn in we can jump into some Storm Esports comps.
We can even check if, let's see, Dequaza is going to pay. Maybe now Chili Mountain will be fun to listen to too.
All right, let's go into Chili Mountain.
Grang?
Can maybe get.
Oh,
wait,
look the turn this, look Lauber no. Yeah.
Starting on Leo.
So,
Is it Leo?
fun.
Yes, a lot of different.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hitting Lauber, yeah. We can pay.
Yeah.
We start pushing.
Rolling.
Oh, care a bit here. Oh, care. They might go better now.
Yeah. It's a free Valor here.
It's look the Lauber. Look Lauber here. Good poke. We need to look for kills here. He's spawning with Leo. Care. Leo spawning. Maybe we can damage him.
They
We gotta
paid.
pay.
They paid the Valor top. Or still.
I'm going top.
Alright, we can go. Probably split the outplay bottom with the Blaze. You guys play S3. They're gonna commit with Cocoon somewhere, so let's care a bit.
They can
I wanna
okay,
play with-
yeah.
Fun.
Can look to shrink the Leo a bit here.
We can kill him.
There might be
And now I'm gonna.
We just clear. I think we got kinda good clear here. We clear bottom together, then we can commit mid. We'll probably leave one fort. Maybe top fort, we'll see.
He might entomb and mid.
But it's clear. Bottom's clear. I'm coming.
Yeah, CT.
Can maybe look to commit on mid there.
I'm coming
Okay.
mid from the ass.
I think they're out.
They're pushing top.
They're going top.
I have cleanse
Leave
as well.
me. Yeah.
We move top. Leo poke is really good as well this game.
I can maybe look again.
They have a hard
So I
time
look
healing up
behind.
Leo.
They're slowed.
TP on you.
I got bankrupt.
Oh, I'm cocooned actually.
Lava is in.
Lots of shit outside after.
No silence.
I'm hitting the Solanas quite a bit here.
This is good. This is
Yeah.
good, I think.
It's really poked.
What's that?
Yeah.
I have no mana.
No mana on Copen. I think we should stop.
They have
Oh,
another
big
pay.
wave.
We probably... I'm gonna send Wisp on bottom. We need to check their pay. I think our hard camp is up.
They're gonna insta-pay for sure.
Yeah.
It was extremely hard for me to leave those comms, Grubby, because there's just so much happening consistently. But do you have any takeaways from everything that we were hearing there?
Yeah, I think overall it was fairly okay comms. Mako, of course, very vocal, the voice that we hear the most. Ultralisk sometimes a kind of a grounding force. I think the big one there was that like the whole team kind of didn't think about Vala paying top, even though they were 5v4. Leo's gonna come back soon. He offers vision. Storm kind of outsmarted them there as they stopped the turn in and they got the turn in top. And not one time was Chile like, what if they pay top? So gotta keep that presence of mind as the fight breaks out again. Cocoon on Brightwing.
Cocoon on Brightwing and Tomb on Damake. We have that Brightwing broken out, but Ultralisk is going to get shredded by the Sylvanas. Make very low. BBJ looking to maybe wall ride and chase in, but Dequaza a little too low. BBJ backs off, amps it up, and this should be the turn in for the side of Storm Esports. This will be their second turn in, and it will be the third Web Weaver of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it'll be the third Web Weaver. I do like this call, though, really quickly. They did delay for a second on the turn, so that way they could tag the camp, and Storm Esports will have a camp into mid lane to match the side of Chili Mountain on the right, and Maev will be up in about 5 seconds. 16, though, Grubby, is half a level away for Storm Esports, quite a ways for the side of Chili Mountain.
Yeah, it's pretty far away indeed, and I think they're going to lose a fort, and they're afraid to lose a keep. So top and bot are, I think, most important. Rusekamp will kind of slow down center, and they need to be mindful of where Ratso is going to be on that Sylvanas. Meanwhile, Ivy Tinks is moving and weaving in shots as well. That's a really big wave coming bot. Blaze open actually feels like the net is closing. Nequaza's positioning and where Storm is means he can no longer proxy clear that Web Weaver bot. A big prioritization by Chili Mountain top, so that's good. They don't need to look at the keep anymore. Bot is sacrificed, and now it's all about mid.
Good condemn from Burgle just to group up these minions to allow Lunara to poke and clear, as well as this Maev with her fan and knives also looking for resets. Ultralisk, he's just trying to hit at least 2 hero with that Q so he can get the reset onto it. But Vala building out more stacks could I was just a little condemned to pull in Lobber, and BBJ just amps it up once again. Web Weaver and bottom will end here. 16 on the side of Storm Esports. Are they looking to continue to push into bottom with the wave that has arrived? It looks like a little bit of poke.
And now that Lucio's level 16, he's got amazing sustained heals into Lunara. It's pretty crazy. He gets a 7.7 attack range or something. And every time he does get attacks, he gets cooldown reduction for his amp it up. That's the big burst heal, where he casts that in his radius. 54 gems in the bank. We have enough for turning for Chili Mountain. They should be happy with any kind of random fight. Ratso going in twice with the Haunting Wave. Doesn't proc the second one. Leo actually making himself, Dequaza making himself a target, then going away. It's really good multi-tanking by Storm. Sometimes it's Sylvanas. That's a 3-man Wailing Arrow. Good cleanse by Banana H, who dodged it. Maka will be able to get the bunker. He can get inside. Good bunker. Really good bunker by Copen. Now they can try to turn around. Leo is down. That's 1. Ivy Tinks peppering them with a big multi-shot. We still have Falling Sword available. We still have Warden's Cage available. So many resources, just not enough life. This may just be the phase shift that is necessary. And Falling Sword, have we seen it a whole lot? It's going to be good at level 20. Wonder where it is going to get used effectively. They're just wasting time here. Chili Mountain not able to get anything done here. 2 waves are pushed against them. They want to flip the switch ideally, but they don't have Blessed Shield. How are they struggling so hard with this 5v4? Ivy Tinks is raining down Unholy Havoc from the backline, and it looks like this might be where they actually try to get another kill. Lobber is getting attacked, but there's so much damage coming in from everyone. Ratso, so much damage. Everyone is coming down. He's weaving through them, peppering them with shots. They quasi's back. This 5v4 did not work out well for Chili Mountain. Storm Esports crushes it with just Ratso and IBTings waiting for absolutely the right time. And everyone else, BBJ and of course Lobber, just buying time, getting the poke damage in, staying alive. And they were all sharing spots on the front line. And Chili Mountain just kind of grouped up together, didn't even know what hit them.
We gotta see that again. Unless this is the march to end the game, which it kind of looks like it is, but still, I would love to see that again at some point, maybe after the game, because right now, Ratso, Black Arrows, locks down the tower. This is what I talked about in the draft. When Sylvanas, when they win a team fight on the side of Storm, their siege potential just amplifies so quickly. We actually have that replay. Thank you, production, as we do have the start here. BBJ is amping it up, trying to keep his friends alive. There's that falling sword you've been asking for, Grubby, from Burgold. A nice Warden's Cage. Leoric is reducing damage in the backline while all this is happening as well. He's got that Wraith, that ominous Wraith, and then he lands this massive double Entomb. And it just sets up IBTings to just start crushing the enemy side. Thank you, production, for getting that replay so quickly for us, because that was such a cool moment, Grubby. I really got to add that one into our recap that Justin and I do weekly. But here comes the Falling Sword once again onto Ratso. Burgold way far forward as the Webweaver in bottom lane is onto the keep. High fives coming out from BBJ. Another high five onto this Leoric as he's just doing the Wraith Walk thing. And this bottom lane Webweaver still getting a lot of siege. Storm Esports back away.
It's fantastic to see the difference between a pro Sylvanas player and your average Sylvanas side push Andy in Storm League. People that main Sylvanas but only ever push the side forward, and when it comes to a team fight, they don't know how much to do. In comes the burrow charge. That's a big epicenter. They delete Mayaf instantly. No heroic being able to be used. Buried alive on the backline. BBJ goes in, and he's getting up close and personal. High five on Lunara and on Brightwing. Healing reduction. It's a 5 versus 2. It's a massacre. Storm tries to get the final kill as well. I will say that that wasn't 100% the best possible move to try and burrow charge in there, delay, and get another kill. And that's because Storm doesn't care about that. They just want to get another kill, add it to the coffers, and then go for the core. They know this game is over. Fantastic.
Members of Storm Esports advance to core. They don't lose a singular structure, or at least a singular fort or keep, and this will be Storm Esports with the advantage in this best of 5 series as they sit 2-0, and well played over to Storm Esports. I have to say, it's hard for me to name an MVP between Ratso and IBTings, because I think we discussed this during the draft, and you and Justin had made great points about this, about how effective IBTings is for this team. I mean, 56,000 damage and 69 Justin is so nice from IBTings, and realistically, Vala's positioning throughout that entire game was, I think, a great showcase of how you position as a Vala.
Yeah, it was very nice for sure. I also think I was kind of torn on who to give the MVP to. I think Ratso, for me, just barely edged it out, especially at the end with the arrows to kind of seal the game out. Ratso really, really impressed me this game overall, especially. The way that he kind of played out the edge of the fight and was constantly being able to do damage, the synergy between him and IBTings was really, really good. They were sort of creating an unwinnable situation for Chili Mountain where they were playing on like completely opposite sides of the fights usually, and just like completely spreading Chili Mountain out and splitting them apart. And it makes it really difficult when you have a comp that Chili Mountain has that's really combo based, similarly to the last game, where they don't have a lot of staying power in fights. They really need to kind of get a big wombo combo to win a fight, or to just get a really good engage, a very decisive engage to win the fight. But when you have IBTings and Ratso on Vala and Sylvanas playing on opposite sides of the fight, like here, how do you engage? Like, there's no clear side to go on to, and you're just constantly being pressured from both sides. So it creates a lot of chaos in the comms. And also when we listen to the comms, it does feel like Chili Mountain, Make is very vocal in comms, but it feels like the rest of them are quite quiet. So wherever Make is, it feels like there's certainty in what's going on, but in the comms you could hear Make was like calling what he was going to be doing mostly when they were bottom, like we're going to clear bottom together and then leave. And the mid lane was pretty silent. Well, they were just getting sieged on by 4 members, so a little bit poor communication, I'd say, overall on the side of Chili Mountain, with the exception of Make. But so that type of kind of trying to team fight when you have comms like that against IBTings and Ratso just completely coming at you from both sides creates so much chaos, and it's so impossible to actually deal with. And it felt like every time they actually managed to get kills, it was just onto Dayquaza. And you saw on that last, the second to last fight, or on the mid coffer, the Leoric is the one who goes down in the engage, but they can still win a 4v5 after that. Leoric is going to respawn, and the sustain damage is so much higher on the side of Storm Esports that they don't have the finishing power to actually win a team fight after getting that one pick. But then Leoric comes back, and they can still win the fight. So just Storm Esports just looking extremely dominant, and I would kind of hope that Chili Mountain maybe plays a comp that doesn't require so much execution. Everything needs to go so perfect for them to win fights with their comp. And Storm Esports needs to kind of just not get picked and not clump up, and they can win. So I think Storm Esports comp is just a little bit easier to play as well. So I'm hoping that Chili Mountain can kind of fix the draft up a bit going into Game 3.
Well, we are going to get ready for Game 3 here in just a second, and we want to give a little bit of time for those players to stretch their legs, get a glass of water, maybe reanalyze how they want to approach each other from Storm Esports side or from Chili Mountain. But when we come back, we'll have that map number 3. We'll find out, will Storm Esports 3-0 Chili Mountain, or can Chili Mountain start to rally and bring things back, maybe a potential reverse sweep today? You know, crazier things have happened here on HeroesCCL. One quick thing while we're in this break, I want you to all hit ! Prize Pool. You can get yourself over to the match arena. If you'd like to donate towards the prize pool, you can definitely do so. And we always appreciate all the support for HeroesCCL. We're at $8,326.69. And we always do appreciate that big push to maybe hit that $9,000. Maybe we can figure out some way to get an animal friend here on the stream for you all once again. But either way, hit that ! Prize Pool in chat while we're on this break. We'll see you all in a few minutes for more HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing as we are in our first best of 5 of the day. Currently, Storm Esports sits in the advantage slot to potentially take a 3-0 against Chili Mountain, and we'll see what happens here because we are ready to go into our next map. We can let you know what that map will be. So we've had quite a few good games so far. We started on Alterac Pass, just had that Tomb of the Spider Queen game, and now we're going to be going to Infernal Shrines. This is the map choice of Storm Esports, as the losing side of Chili Mountain has opted for first pick priority. Some map stats for all of you at home. Chili Mountain has lost this map 4 times, and the members of Storm Esports have played this map once. But, you know, when we look at those stats, it's a bit of a vacuum in comparison between both these teams. But here we are. We're ready to go into the draft, and I got to get your thoughts here, Justing. As we get into this third draft, what do you do for Chili Mountain? Like, if let's say Justing is on Chili Mountain, how do you rally this team for a victory up against Storm Esports?
I think taking the Mephisto early, so it does not get banned away in the second rotation by either team, is probably a good choice on Infernal Shrines. Also, the style of composition that Chili Mountain has been playing works a lot better here on Infernal Shrines than on the previous 2 maps. This is a map where you actually do need to funnel into chokes, and you need to fight around a centralized area to get fights, and Chili Mountain has been picking these high execution, kind of wombo combo, high engage execution heavy compositions, and it does work a lot better on Infernal Shrines. So I think their draft strategy, well, it maybe didn't work in the last 2 games. If that's what they've been practicing, this is a map that it could work a lot better. So I don't mind them continuing to do that. But Storm Esports has been kind of showing that they're really good individual players, and they've been playing a lot of kind of just death balls. So it's like just really kind of spread out fights. Just everyone's kind of individually, just always fighting constantly. And Chili Mountain needs to maybe pick something that can kind of deal with that, like the Mephisto, something that can sort of slow down the aggression of Storm Esports. So I'd like to see maybe, well, I guess they aren't going to get the Mephisto. Storm Esports is too smart. So good draft adaptation by Storm to realize that they have to ban it away early here, because getting the second ban on it might not work out for them.
Banana Stukov, though, is always going to be good. We've had some highlight moments from Banana in previous seasons, but the Zarya will be picked up, and that's already a terrifying start, because we all know, Grubby, that Retso has got a god tier, S tier, S++ tier Zarya.
Yeah, when I think of Retso, I think of Zarya, Sylvanas, and Uther, and Tracer. Those 4 heroes, I think, are most associated with him, but Zarya is so on the center of the tier list in general that we usually don't see her. We see top 30 heroes, not the middle 30 heroes usually. And to first pick it, it's so interesting. And after Zarya, what do you generally expect in the draft? Glass cannons. Usually ranged glass cannons. It can be melee assassins as well. And in fact, I think it works out really well, because it means people won't be focusing Zarya herself as much, and then she becomes a better damage dealer. But Vala, definitely one of the prime suspects. So I think this is as much of a counter pick into the Ivy Things Fallout supported by Zarya and a real healer as it is Chili Mountain wanting it themselves.
Chili Mountain banning out their 8th Diablo from the season, not really wanting to deal with that. Justin, on the note of what Grubby's saying about these melee assassin potentials, could we see maybe like a Zera tool to dive into the backline and like put pressure onto Vala Stukov with the bubble from Zarya?
It's certainly possible. I'm not sure if Storm is the team to play it. IB Tings has played it before, so it is possible, but I think with the Zarya, they're more likely going to be going for more sustainy comp, similar to what they played in the last 2 games. Just, it feels like Storm, of all the teams, seems to have the most clear identity as what they like to draft. And yeah, that's something that I was going to touch on, is the Ultralisk, known for the Kerrigan. It is Infernal Shrines. They did need a melee assassin to fit the formula of their last 2 drafts. So Kerrigan coming out for Ultralisk, I do like that a lot. But it might be a little bit difficult depending on what support comes out here. It could be the Deckard to kind of just stop the whole engage with Stay a While and Listen. Right Wing is still available. Pretty much, yeah, they have the tools of Lunara with Cleanse, they have Blaze Bunker, they have Zarya shields. So Chili Mountain does have the Wombo combo potential and just the hard engage, but it might be very, very hard to do against all of the defensive tools now with the Anduin being picked up with the pull on the side of Storm Esports.
And the one person who really popularized Falling Sword before it had the cleanse factor was actually Lauber. Back in a couple seasons, he was actually doing the Falling Sword Light Bomb, or even just raw Falling Swords to dive onto white mains in the backline. So really, really liking the Storm Esports draft personally here. I think we could see some cool stuff with the Chili Mountain draft, but Justin, as we're loading on into Infernal Shrines, what could possibly be Chili Mountain's final map of the day and a win for Storm Esports, what do you think about these drafts and who could win?
So I think that Storm Esports seems like they're just the much better team here in the series so far, and it feels like they've gotten a composition that they're extremely comfortable with. You have Rutzo playing the Zarya, which he's known for, and they have this very defensive style composition. I do think that in the draft, Chili Mountain, just on paper, I would prefer Chili Mountain's draft, and taking away the Vala when they did, I think was really important, because Storm Esports composition with a Vala instead of a Lunara, I think would have been extremely strong. Lunara, as we saw in the last game for Chili Mountain, is not the best solo hyper carry. So I think in draft, I actually prefer Chili Mountain's composition. I think they just have so much AoE CC that it's going to be hard to save everyone with the defensive tools on the side of Storm Esports. And this is a map where you have to just kind of clash your heads together and fight 5v5 on the Shrine. So draft-wise, I prefer Chili Mountain, but I think Storm Esports has the momentum, and I think they've got all comfort across the board. So I'm going to go with Storm Esports, but not because of the draft.
Alrighty, Justin. Thank you for the breakdown and analysis, because we are loaded in to Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get these players, these teams introduced, because we've got Storm Esports in the blue, and as I said, they could be taking a 3-0 against Chili Mountain as they sit in the advantage spot in this best-of-5 series. BBJ on the Anduin, Lauber on the Joanna, Rutzo on the Zarya, Dequaza to play Blaze, and Ivy Tings on the Lunara. Over in the red, looking to rally, we got Banana on the Stukov, Maka on the Vala, Ultralisk on the Kerrigan, Copen on the Hogger, and Burgult on the Varian. That's your Chili Mountain draft. As Grubby, gotta get your thoughts on all of this, as the mid lane engagement will be happening in a few seconds.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have a Varian main tank that typically is part of a I don't want to lose my tank, or I want to blow up one of your members. And he is paired up with members that don't really fulfill that duty. It's not Varian Tyker Stukov. It is Varian Stukov though. That's a good combo, but we don't have the traditional burst follow-up. And Maka in trouble immediately. He was in front of Stukov and Varian in a bush where enemies could be. A little bit concerning, but he gets saved. And you gotta chill until Varian's level 4. So Varian Stukov, strong. Kerrigan actually helps a lot because Varian typically can only try to kill one person, and therefore there's no threat on others. Kerrigan and Hogger help a bit with that. This is a very heavy melee draft into Johanna Condemn, into all of what Blaze does, into Lunara, who is actually hard to catch for all of those, and then into Zarya with Expulsion Zone, with grenades and cleaving auto attack damages and shields, and there's cleanses everywhere. And I think both in draft and in skill so far, Storm has won out. So I think it should be a fairly easy victory for them.
that first engagement, I was looking at it, and I feel like a lot of these engagements are kind of a little bit of a prelude as to what we're going to see, because once IB Tings hits that level 7, the burst potential from this Lunara is going to be skyrocket. I mean, look at Make's health bar right now. It's 50%. That is definitely something that, I mean, IB Tings keeps chasing in, but once you get that Choking Pollen, which will be nerfed in our upcoming patch, right now, with how Choking Pollen is on the live server, like, that could have been 2 kills to the side of Storm if we were level 7. So that's why I'm like, I feel like we're getting a little bit of a prelude as to what could happen for these team fights in this little in these skirmishes between mid and bottom in the initial setup right now. And for anyone wondering, it's going to be a Mortar Punisher for our first Punisher, and that will be in the top lane. We know this because we can see the minimap, and we know that it's Mortar Punisher because, for anyone that doesn't know, you can use your mouse cursor to hover over the shrine, and it tells you what it is before it's even active. But look at Kerrigan on the left-hand side. She's going to try and dive in. IB Tings gets a minuscule shield, and that's all he needed.
That really sucks for Ultralisk. He nearly got the kill on IB Tings. 125 life. It's that initial shield from the level 1 power word shield that had Anduin saved there. They will get the first blood on Johanna here. And what's funny is Ultralisk aimed for Lunara. She got saved and someone else got comboed. So good job by Ultralisk hedging his bets. First kill once again to Chili Mountain. The same thing happened in game number 1. Game number 2, I don't think it happened. But Chili Mountain, decent start again. In terms of XP, they're of course a bit behind. It's because they didn't clear mid-wave yet. They also lost a lot of the mid-wall. They lost a lot of the bottom wall. Structurally, Storm is winning, so kills, they don't matter as much as structures, and Storm is actually in the lead. Now, Kerrigan wants to kind of be in the lead by the time you get to level 10, for sure. You want to have like 1 level lead, because she does not come back from behind very well.
We're also going to see Chili Mountain. I would expect Kerrigan to focus on double soak rotation to finish out that sharpened blades. We often see that this is the play from Kerrigan players, as we do have a jet propulsion from the blaze. The sidewall kind of blocking that. A little bit of leap of faith from Anduin does pull Dequaz out of a sticky situation with that lurking arm on the ground. Kerrigan continue to do that double soaking, as I mentioned, 22 stacks on that level 4 sharpened blades. Once you do finish that rewards, you do get the additional 50 damage. But let's talk about the fight right now, because the Chastise goes through father and son fighting as big jet propulsion connects onto Bergolt. There's a lurking arm from the Stukov. Johanna body blocking Bergolt, and Bergolt will fall. The members of Chili Mountain the members of Storm Esports equalizing and actually finding a double kill, and this should be first objective phase to Storm. Still giving a little bit of time for Kerrigan to double soak, but she's not coming out on top because this will be Blaze rotating to match her soak.
And I think Blaze's arrival must have kind of been covert here, because it is traditional for both teams at the pro level to send a... that was smart. Timing-wise, it was perfect if Blaze hadn't done what he done. Both actually really high-level plays there, even though they didn't even see each other. Usually at a high-level play, you never overcommit to the top shrine with 5 players. Zarya says we want to overcommit a little bit more. We want to death wall a little bit more. And that kind of sets the tone as well, with Blaze coming in, forcing that 5v4. They're not happy with the status quo, because if they had done a 4-1, 4-1 split, just like Chili Mountain, Kerrigan gets stacked and Chili Mountain gets the objective as well, with the way that things work out. So smart rotation from Storm. You get the Punisher. It does another wall. So now 3 gates have been destroyed already by 5 minutes game time.
We actually can see back to that objective and see how things worked out for the side of Storm Esports. We get that replay for all of you at home. You can take that down, and Grubby can break it down for all of you as well.
Yeah, so you had Blaze coming in right here already with the 5 versus 4, and Berghold, I will say he was a little bit deep actually. As Varian, I don't think you want to be the furthest on the shrine. This is the #1 shrine where you actually can get flanked. It's the scariest shrine to go into as a backline. So Vala is going to be kind of outside the perimeter of the circle of the objective. Ogre can be right on top of it. Stukov will be like against the wall on the right near the gate. And Varian needs to be in the bush that gains access to the top right of the shrine. And for him to be deepest and actually be the target, even though Blaze's arrival may have been covert, I think that has him being a little bit too deep.
It's good read from Storm Esports through and through, as Vala's just trying to soak out bottom lane. We do have heroics across the board, and it's pretty much what we're expecting for everyone. Leaping strikes from Lunara, of course, and I think that plays well into the light bomb value. You also do have the leap of faith from Anduin, so let's say Ibitings tries to go in, they get Omega stunned by like Rain of Vengeance, Ultralisk, Shockwave, Taunt. You have BBJ with that saving grace with the leap of faith, and at 16 you'll have the Glyph of Faith for the secondary charge. You've also got shields from the Zarya, and Rutzo. Well, I think Rutzo might have a good read here and there of when to apply a shield to someone. So I really do like Storm Esports going for this very aggressive 10 talent tier setup because they also can dive in with... They have multiple forms of diving in. They also have that bunker and expulsion zone for safety. There's that taunt, but immediate bubble from Rutzo. Love the way that this is being played.
A big commitment on Johanna meant that whatever they tried to do in the bottom against Lunara could never possibly work because both Stukov and Kerrigan just used their combo. Communication is going to need to be better, but we're witnessing a new lineup here, so it's kind of expectable. So they know Blaze is invading. Kerrigan smartly didn't go for the combo because everybody's actually here. And he knows it's just him and Hager. They check it out, and it's like, yep, it's all of them. There is an expulsion zone, so it would be quite hard to actually steal this. Hager tries. Again, expulsion zone. Blaze gets the cap. That cap is not going to help. That's a light bomb on Kerrigan. Copen gets deleted. That's double leaping strike. Burgold is still healthy, but is there enough damage and threat here without Hager? He never got to cast Shockwave. Ibitings fairly comfortably still at 800 life. It's disjointed for Chili Mountain. On the other side, Storm, our victor so far of 2 maps. They're owning this. They're coming in as 5, confident in their abilities in disrupting Chili Mountains' formation. And they've now proactively created space for them to fall back and play on their terms. Not into Kerrigan getting shields from all the little shrine minions, but fighting in a choke where expulsion zone matters. Where bunker could have been used if it had gotten scary, but it never truly did.
Dequaz's positioning in that entire engagement was really critical as well because he was kind of standing behind the Kerrigan, just burninating. Like, he was just sitting there, just gauntlet fire, gauntlet fire, gauntlet fire. So he was doing a really good job of just also controlling the environment in this corridor. And I agree with you. This is a great place for Light Bomb, for Expulsion Zone, for Condemns, for Jet Propulsions, for Lunara to spread damage as the Jet Propulsion went fishing there to try and pull Kerrigan back. But here comes Burgold with a taunt. Little kind of split on the fight in a sense, but Chili Mount was still floating around. Just seemed a little risky for Burgold, but he's trying to do anything he possibly can, and I definitely see his position and just trying to be like, all right, I gotta dive someone. I can't be passive like I was in map number 1 on that Anubrak. I need to be aggressive on this variant, and Burgold, he is trying to do so, but this Punisher, second one of the game, Arcane pushing into the mid lane, and it seems, watching the minimap, like the Storm Esports crew, they're gonna get the mid lane fort, and then they'll rotate out maybe to go for bottom lane. Good falling sword.
Yeah, just want to play it safe. Already used Iron Skin. He sees the watchful eyes of Chili Mountain still on his back. He was in fact 1v5. He did go engage with a punish, and he's like, yeah, 1v5. I'm just gonna burn this cooldown. It's so hilariously short, 30 seconds left. Just chill out. Probably give up the Impaler and Ultralisk. Gonna get a combo. Should be fine though.
Taunt from Very and Ultralisk summons Ultralisk, and the healing pathogens spread by the Stukov. Lurking Arm does go out. Lauber's considering to invade this camp. Burgold will slow him down. Lauber getting body blocked, can't get to the point in time. There's the explosion zone. Light Bomb does come out. Burgold is going to be the target. Lauber is going to set up for a body block. Shield glares go out as well. Big Lurking Arm from Banana. He does have that low blow from level 1 for that increased damage. Lauber getting very low here, but he gets a bubble from Retso, who also gets the self bubble. And this camp does go over to the side of Chili Mountain. Some experience for them as well, but camp already being taken down quite a bit. Steakwaza hasn't entered this fight as well, Grubby.
Yeah, Ultralisk goes in. He misses his combo. He does save himself with Chrysalis. Lauber drops real low. Maka trying to chase. He switches target to Ratso. Blind by Lauber on Maka. In the meantime, Dequaza real deep. He kind of played not looking at the backline. This is kind of a hilarious moment here where Storm loses their 2 frontliners with Johanna running for her life. But Blaze, Dequaza still trying to make something happen on the backline. A good moment for Chili Mountain.
Yes.
They're going to ask themselves, what do we do next? What else can we get out of this?
They have to do something here. They have to ride the little bit of momentum. There's about 10 seconds on these two frontliners, and Burgult and Make Banana trying to walk up this bottom lane, but it's 3v3. Kerrigan's doing Kerrigan things as she's 3 stacks away from finishing out her sharpened blades. 2 stacks away. Let me keep you all up to date, number by number, but 40 on the Vala Fire at Will, 28 stacks on this Joanna, 4 stacks for the Anduin on his Piercing Light, and no Subdue finished out by the Joanna. And we can, Grubby, I think we got that replay right now for that bottom lane fight. We can see how everything kind of unfolded.
Yeah, look at this. Lobber is pretty low. He's got a falling sword. He's trying to get Ultralisk, but he can't. Ultralisk gets away. Then Maka puts the punishment on Lobber, switches to Ratso. So we've got 2 players out of commission. Banana H actually pushed Dequaza down into a corner, then did a giant puddle. So it was, in fact, Banana H that prevented Dequaza from reuniting with his friends. And now we kind of understand what happened there. So much space was created by the damage of Chili Mountain. And it came at a very interesting time where I was just wondering, have they got what it takes to deal significant damage? That's a one-man combo, but again, Chrysalis to save Ultralisk himself. Ultralisk still alive somehow. He does his big damage. That's Ravage completed. But Ultralisk falls. Ivy Tinks does miss the heal and the shield from BBJ. Ratso needed that as well, which is ironic. The whole thing was missed. Is there another taunt? Yes, there is a taunt. Can Burgold get in position? No. Wow, Stormy. Oh, low blow, low blow.
Low blow! Low blow! But that's going to be a turn into the fight. We do have a late bomb, a condemn, and that is the answer back. Lobber saying, okay, you may have killed my Lunara, but I'm going to go ahead and kill you. And Anduin finding that kill, actually last auto attack. Speaking of auto attacks, Zarya looking for the last little bit of particle grenade damage as Augur gets the spin. Burgult's the new target. And that is going to be a Joanna killing a Varian. And this is the bad part about all this, Grubby, is the members of Chili Mountain just lost 3. And this is an objective face up, ready to go. Frozen Punisher to the side of Storm Esports, as they've already proxied the wave. They've already pushed up the wave a little bit here. And Joanna, Lobber, he's going to grab a little experience in mid lane, pushing that up with that catapult available. Loving the way that Storm Esports are playing this. And I'm curious, Grubby, do you want to jump into the Storm Esports comm and hear how they're going to push with this Punisher?
Yeah, I'd love to. It may be one of the last chances we get.
Into Storm we go.
Usually it doesn't go well when we like wait with this though, like from scrims.
True.
Kinda
What is it?
eating
It's frozen? We can just run it down bot, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna lose top 4, but I guess maybe we don't give a shit.
I don't care.
Okay. Oh, do you have Kada wave incoming? No.
I only have 1 pull for a bit, but I bomb up.
shoot up.
We should go up and hit a sidewall.
Yeah, I agree. While Hogger is showing. Gonna E over the wall. Scapper variant taunt.
Yeah, we have a wisp on the
It's
flank.
hard to dive though. Kerrigan is here.
Have to break the
They used
whole wall.
Hogger no Q, Hogger no Q.
In silence.
Look at
Yeah,
Banana,
he's
he's
not-
falling.
nah,
Yeah,
nah,
Banana,
nah.
Banana. I have R on it, I have R on you guys.
Kerrigan combo, but it's fine.
Hogger's nothing, Hogger's nothing. Hogger. Let's hit the front. We can end, I think.
I have pinned someone, I think
Speed me?
Sorry, I can swim.
Get back. He has no Crystalisk. No
Yeah,
Crystalisk.
they all did, they all did.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I guess our comp doesn't have any damage.
I like to backseat the chat, this comp had no damage.
Oh my god, Storm has no damage!
What the fuck? How did they ever kill anything?
And with that, Grubby, it is going to be the members of Storm Esports taking a solid 3-0 up against the members of Chili Mountain. And I do have actually a little fun fact. I was looking at the in-game timer at the end of that. Every single map was slightly shorter than the others. Like the first map was done in about 17 minutes. The second map was done in about 16 minutes. This one was about 14, 15 minutes or something like that. So just a little faster every single game. And really, really fun Infernal Shrines map from the side of Storm Esports, hearing how they were just shot calling and playing that very calm, cool collective in their comms. But I know, Justin, you've been listening, you've been watching, and I'm sure your eagle eyes have caught quite a few interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, that was a fun game for sure for Storm Esports. They kind of controlled the early game pretty well by getting both the bot camp and their camp, and then just sort of pushing bottom, running it down with the 4-man with Zarya, which is kind of what Zarya wants to do. And their comp is really strong early game for doing that. They were a little bit second-guessing themselves, you could tell, because of Ultralisk on the Kerrigan. He was really aggressive. It was kind of a shame that he would get members to just like 1 or 2 HP and just was hardly not able to finish them off. But I think Ultras put on a good performance on the Kerrigan regardless. It didn't feel like he maybe had the tools for follow-up that he would kind of need from his team. And yeah, Chile Mountain in general did look a little bit disjointed just in general. This camp invade we're looking at was a pretty huge moment for Storm Esports, where they go for the invade because Chile Mountain is completely split on the map. They had people showing bottom. I'm pretty sure Berghalt, at like 30 seconds prior to this, Berghalt was just sitting bottom. Like, Chile Mountain just didn't seem to understand really the macro of where to be, and their comp needs to get fixed in the early game, and they weren't able to really get any. And then as the game progresses, there's so many cleanses on the side of Storm Esports that it's really hard to be decisive when you have Bunker, you have Lunara cleanse, Zarya shields, the pull, Johanna falling sword, Johanna D. There's so many things that can kind of just stop your engage that when Chile Mountain is already kind of feeling like they're struggling to be decisive and pull the trigger on their engages, it just makes it even harder when you have those things second guessing yourself. And my MVP for the series, I was thinking it was going to be Ibtings, but I was thinking that also that Banana was doing a really good job on Stukov. We see actually here in this clip, right as I was starting to write it down, Ibtings dies to Banana on Stukov, and I thought that was kind of funny because they were kind of both my MVPs for the series for both teams. I think Ibtings on Lunara played exceptionally well. He obviously had a lot of peel and protection from his team, but in the team fights he was dodging pretty much everything, just kind of bouncing back and forth, just really dancing around the team fights. So it was kind of cool to watch Ibtings kind of pilot that so well.
There's a lot of really cool highlights throughout that series, and we can actually highlight one of the players right now because we have Rutso on the line, and we can chat with him about his victory up against Chile Mountain. Rutso, my friend, can you hear us?
Oh, hello, guys.
Hello, congratulations on your victory. How are you feeling?
It feels good, considering, well, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, it didn't go as we kind of expected, and yeah, not really performing, but I'm happy that we performed well today. So yeah.
Before I throw it over to Justin and Grubby for some questions, I gotta ask you, how much fun did you have playing Zarya in that last game? Because you look like you were just kind of like you're just kind of jiving. You're having a good time playing what looks like your favorite hero.
Oh yeah, I totally love Zarya. I mean, people kind of have to permaban it, so when they don't, I can just kind of yoink it and I'm just cruising around winning the game. But yeah. Ton of fun when we have Zarya. People don't think that you can do damage on Zarya, but it's just, in my opinion, it's just people don't know how to play her then. So yeah.
Ooh. Well, we'll have to get a clinic from you at some point on how to play Zarya. Maybe we'll get one of those Kyle Ferguson breakdowns. But I want to throw it over to Justin for a question or two.
Yeah, so this is kind of just more in general question. When you're playing Zarya, is there anything that... So you guys picked it really early in the last game. You basically first picked it. Is there anything that you kind of look to prioritize with the Zarya in the draft for you that you think kind of enables you, or that you want to enable with the Zarya when you're drafting it?
So yeah, there's like some apps that's obviously better for Zarya. Like overall, we would look to pick like a hyper carry, which for example would be like a DPS that could do lots of consistent damage, like Vala, Gul'dan, something like that. But in that case, they pick Vala, and it's like Lunara also does like ton of damage. It's just not like as bursty or like I don't know. Like I just don't care. I just pick Zarya anyway. I don't really hyper carry honestly. So, yeah, that's
Zarya 1v9.
Yeah, just
exactly.
Until
Grubby, any questions for Rutso?
You guys finally have a match score that feels a little bit more suitable. 1-3 looked weird. Feel like you guys had a bit of an unlucky season, perhaps.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 matches left, one of which, next week, is going to be against Simplicity. Any thoughts on that and your likelihood to do well there as a team?
I mean, we do scrims, right? But I guess I can't say too much. But I'm pretty confident that we can give a good show. Obviously, Simplicity is a very good team. So, but when we face them, I'm not gonna be like, okay, this is just we lost. Like, I'm definitely confident that we can win against them. But yeah, we had a rough start in the start of the season, but I feel like it's going better now. So yeah.
When you guys have a big challenge like Simplicity, does that, in you personally or in the team, generally make you look forward to that match more because it's a great opportunity? Or do you wish that you could go into matches very relaxed because you know it's going to be like a good game for you, an easy night, and a relaxed weekend?
Oh no, I mean it's definitely nice playing against the good teams because you want to show that you're the better team, and sometimes you lose. But like I feel like overall our team is pretty confident that we can win if we just put enough practice into it, because we have great individual players. It's just at the start we weren't all there, somewhere away, but I think overall we're pretty confident that we can beat whoever we want if we just put enough time and practice into it. So yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Retzo, for the interview. Before I let you run out of here, are there any shouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Yeah, shout out to my teammates, of course. Also the Oxygen boys. They're all fucking amazing over there. And shout out to the backseaters in chat also.
Well, thank you, Retzo, for the interview.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your victory. Good luck in your scrims, your practice this upcoming week, and we'll see you next weekend on December 11th for your matchup up against Simplicity. Good luck and have fun out there.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Well, I'm glad he at least gave some credit to Twitch chat, because they're always right. They're never wrong. They obviously never backseated gaming. That's crazy. But we've already gotten through our first best of 5 of the day quite quickly. Actually, Storm Esports did win up against Chili Mountain in a 3-0 way. But as you see at the bottom of our screen, things have swapped over, and we're getting ready for Wildheart Esports going up against Granite Gaming. Now, as always, we are going to be taking a little bit of break between our series to let everyone kind of stretch their legs, get the lobbies going, get all those map bans and everything out of the way, so when we come back, we can start getting right into our next best of 5. So in this little bit of a break, of course, we like to bring our favorite person back onto the screen. We got Kyle Ferguson, who has an interview with Swamp Grata, who's on the side of Granite Gaming, to kind of pick his brain a little bit about the upcoming matchup against Wildheart Esports. So we're going to take that little bit of a break. When we come back, we'll see what's going to happen between Wildheart Esports versus Granite Gaming. Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom.